Well, last night it really did get a bit rough. Not only with those thunderstorms, but really heavy downpours as well. But we also had quite bad winds on top. So I definitely think it's worth having a walk down to that container garden and just checking these plants and all those potato plants that we've got growing in containers. Hopefully it won't have knocked any of those stems over. Well, all these potatoes look okay. Got a bit of a leaf curl going on there, but could be a bit of stress. But at least none of these plants are broken. And that's the main thing. We don't want them getting knocked over, especially while they're flowering. And this one's in full flower now, so we should be getting a nice little harvest out of that container. Those broad beans are still stood up anyway, but they probably get a little bit of wind protection from that net. This is what we did last week when we just put random vegetable plants into this hoop tunnel. Cherry tomato plants, sweet bell peppers, and there's some cauliflowers, broad beans, cucumbers, a couple of courgette plants, and some cabbage. But they stood up, so that's all that matters. And so are these in that other tunnel. They're a lot bigger. So far, none of these are going to flower. It's definitely a good thing that we tied these tomato plants up a few days ago, because I think them winds would definitely knock those over. But they seem to have got through tonight. And now we've got loads of really big strawberries growing on here. We best keep our eye on those. As soon as they start to turn red, we need to be taking them before anything else does. Let's see what's happening in this container garden as well. And I spy a strawberry. Ready for picking that one. And that strawberry tower's really filled out now. And there's another strawberry there, and one there that's just coming ready. So we're starting to get a bit of fruit from this. But everything looks pretty much undamaged, which is great. These peppers are starting to bud up now as well, and put out extra side shoots as well. That one has got a nice big flower on it. We'll move them off there now. We turned those trays upside down so they weren't filling up with water through night, but they have still collected a little bit. These onions are coming on really well. They're them long Florence red onions. Looks like there's quite a few peppers starting to flower now. Spinach looks okay. That's baby leaf spinach, so it's ready for an harvest, to be fair. And I left 2 little tomato plants out last night. We had a big one in here, big tall one, about 4 foot. So I decided to move that because of that wind starting to gust. I didn't want it damaging. The little ones seem to have coped. So does this as well. Loads of little cherry tomatoes on there now. This potato plant has been hit by wind, broke that stem there. That's a shame. Always it's the potato plants more than anything. I'll have to try and tie that up a little bit because it is still quite windy today. But the smaller plants look okay. No problems that side. And this romaine lettuce container has gone a bit mad. I'm not sure they're supposed to get that big, but we'll see what happens with those. If we just go around back of that romaine lettuce container, we've got something else really interesting happening. Right there. Got a nice little cucumber growing. And next to it, there's another one as well. So we're on our way with cucumbers now this year. And that's one of those market more outdoor cucumbers. These onions are now starting to put on a bit of size to a point where we could have harvested them, but these tops aren't going over yet, so they're not quite ready. There's a lot of onions in that old tin bath. So apart from that one little problem with that potato plant, everything seems to have got through night okay. But they're the plants that I brought in from Container Garden. Because that wind was gusting so much, I really didn't trust them. Especially with this one. Although this plant looks a bit limp at the moment after that battering it had, it's just got loads and loads of tomatoes on it. Coming in different areas. But we've also got a bit of discoloration on these leaves as well. So I think we'll be giving this plant a bit of a spray. Especially with having that many tomatoes on it. We don't want to lose it. That one's starting to fill out a bit as well. And it's also got loads of tomatoes on. So I think we'll give these plants a bit of a spray today with that blight mixture. Maybe a little bit of tomato food as well to try and boost them up. And we'll see how they get on for the rest of the week. Once again, we keep getting a little bit of leaf curl. Could be a bit of stress, but this plant is fruiting. And these Italian plum tomatoes have got even bigger just over the last couple of days. That T-Rex plant didn't get any damage either, which is good. We're having such big leaves on it. I'm always worried about these branches getting snapped, but it seems to have got through alright. I put all these salads together as well, just bunched them up together, and they got a bit of protection from that wind. And they've turned out alright after last night. And it's definitely time for a bit of an harvest. So it looks like most of those plants in that container garden got through last night without any damage, except for that one potato plant, which is a shame because it's that really big one. But we've only got one stem broken on that plant, so those potatoes will still keep growing. But I think that stem will now just start to die back, so at some point we'll just cut that one off. And maybe tie it up with some more string, just in case those winds return. But we did take those tall tomato plants out of that garden. It's not worth taking risks when you know there's bad winds coming to leave really tall tomato plants just in containers in that area. Just in case the whole thing gets blown over or it hits it with such force that it snaps your stem, and that's your plant pretty much finished. And since it's an indeterminate plant which can carry on growing and producing fruit all year long, we don't want that to happen. But I have noticed on one of the small Cherry Falls container ones a bit of discoloration in the leaves. We might give that a little bit of a feed today. I'm also going to spray it with that homemade blight spray that we did yesterday as well, just in case. Because they're a determinate tomato plant, so as you could see, they're setting all their tomatoes all at once. And they'll all grow to a good sized cherry tomato, and then they'll all ripen at once. And then that plant's done. So hopefully we can control that leaf discoloration and keep that plant going until we get to the point where we can take harvests. One other thing that was brilliant to see on the first day of this week, we've got our first cucumber growing, and it's a good size. It's about 4 inches long, and that's growing in a container with that romaine lettuce. We've put it at the back, just one plant, and we're tying it up along that metal railing as it grows. It's got to about 2 feet long so far, but it's already got 2 really nice looking cucumbers on it. So that's a brilliant start to the week to see that. All in all, considering it was really heavy rain last night, accompanied by bad winds, we didn't do too bad out of it. So now we're back, start a new week, looking at what other jobs we can get done. Because there's always something to do. Anyway, I hope all your plants got through last night okay as well. And if you want to see what I'm going to be doing through this coming week, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell. We'll see you next time. Take care.